Sarah makes $75,000 a year. Mike makes $60,000. Sarah is drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, one emergency away from disaster. Mike just bought his second rental property. Same country, same economy, same tax system. So what's the difference? It's not about how much you make. It's about 5 specific money mistakes that are quietly stealing your wealth every single day. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you're making at least 3 of them right now. What's going on, everyone? I'm Sean, and around here, we don't sugarcoat money. We dissect it, we expose it, and most importantly, we make it work for us, not the other way around. Look, I grew up middle class in Ohio. My parents did everything right, worked hard, paid their bills on time, saved a little when they could. And yet, they retired with barely enough to cover their basic needs. That's when I realized something was broken. Not them, the system, the financial advice, the so-called rules that keep everyday Americans running on a hamster wheel while the wealthy keep rewriting the game. So here's my promise to you. I'm not here to sell you dreams or recycled advice from some 1985 finance textbook. I'm here to show you what's actually keeping your pockets empty, and more importantly, how to fix it. Because in this channel, we believe 3 things. Your income is not your destiny. Your habits are your blueprint. And the biggest lie ever told to the middle class is that being broke is just bad luck. Now, if you're new here and you're serious about breaking free from the paycheck to paycheck cycle, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now. Tap the like button if you're ready to stop making these mistakes, and smash that notification bell so you never miss a video that could literally change your financial future. Trust me, this one's gonna hit different. All right, let's get into it. Mistake number 1, lifestyle inflation. And this is the silent assassin of the American middle class. Let me tell you about my friend Marcus. Marcus got his first real job out of college in 2019. $42,000 a year as a junior analyst. He drove a 2008 Honda Civic, lived with 2 roommates in a decent apartment, meal prepped on Sundays, and actually managed to save about $400 a month. Not bad, right? Fast forward 3 years. Marcus is now making $68,000. That's a $26,000 raise. He should be crushing it financially. But here's what actually happened. He upgraded to a brand new Mazda CX-5, $520 a month payment, moved into his own 1-bedroom apartment in a nicer area, rent jumped from $650 to $1,850, started eating out 4 times a week because, quote, I work hard, I deserve it, subscribed to premium everything, Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, a gym he visits twice a month, and a meal kit service he doesn't have time for. You know how much Marcus saves now with his $68,000 salary? 0. Actually, negative. He carries a $3,200 balance on his credit card. Here's what nobody tells you. Every time you get a raise, society is standing right there with its hand out, ready to sell you the upgraded version of your life. New salary, new car. Promotion, bigger apartment. Bonus, nicer vacation. And look, I'm not saying you should live like a monk, but here's the math that'll wake you up. If Marcus had kept his lifestyle exactly the same and invested just half of that $26,000 raise, that's $13,000 a year, in a basic index fund averaging 10% annual returns, in 10 years, he'd have over $227,000. In 20 years, over $800,000. But instead, he upgraded his lifestyle and stayed broke. Same cycle, different tax bracket. And here's the slightly rebellious part nobody wants to admit. We do this because we're taught that success looks like stuff. The nicer car, the bigger house, the designer bag, the expensive brunch. We've been conditioned to perform wealth instead of building it. Your neighbor doesn't know if you have $100,000 in investments, but they sure know if you're driving a Tesla. And that's the trap. So here's what you do instead. The next time you get a raise, and I don't care if it's $2,000 or $20,000, do the 50-50 split. 50% goes to improving your lifestyle if you want. The other 50% automatically diverted to savings or investments before you even see it. That way, you get to enjoy the fruits of your hard work and you're building real wealth. You're not staying in the same place just wearing nicer clothes. But lifestyle inflation isn't the only trap. Mistake number 2 is actually worse because it comes disguised as responsibility. Mistake number 2, confusing debt payments with financial progress. And this one makes my blood boil because it's so deceptive. Let me introduce you to Jennifer. Jennifer is 34, works as a dental hygienist making about $62,000 a year. She's responsible, pays all her bills on time, never misses a payment. She's got her student loans on auto pay, her car note handled, her credit cards, well, she pays the minimums religiously. Jennifer looks at her bank account every month and thinks, I'm doing everything right. I'm being responsible. And by society standards, she is. But here's the brutal truth. Jennifer isn't building wealth. She's treading water, and the current is slowly pulling her backward. Let me break down Jennifer's actual financial picture. Student loans, $47,000 at 6.5% interest. Monthly payment, $350. At her current pace, she'll pay these off in 18 years and pay $28,000 in interest alone. Car loan, $28,000 on a 2021 SUV at 7% interest. Monthly payment, $580. She'll end up paying $35,000 for a car that'll be worth $12,000 when she finally owns it. Credit cards, $8,500 spread across 3 cards. She pays $250 total in minimums each month. At this rate, 32 years to pay off. I'm not exaggerating. 32 years. Add it all up, Jennifer is sending out $1,180 every single month in debt payments. That's over $14,000 a year going straight to banks and lenders. And here's what kills me. She feels like she's being financially responsible because she's paying her bills. But let's do the math that your bank doesn't want you to do. If Jennifer took that same $14,000 a year and invested it instead of paying interest to lenders, let's say for 20 years at a conservative 8% return, she'd have over $687,000. But she won't, because she's stuck in the debt hamster wheel confusing payments with progress. See, there's a massive difference between managing debt and eliminating debt. Managing debt means you've made peace with it, you've organized it, you've got a system, you feel in control. But you're still broke. You're just broke with a plan. And here's the part that's going to upset some people. The financial industry loves responsible debtors like Jennifer. You know why? Because you're predictable revenue. You pay on time, you don't default, you're the perfect customer, slowly, steadily, quietly transferring your wealth to them month after month, year after year. They don't want you to pay off your debt quickly, they want you to manage it comfortably. Think about it. When's the last time your credit card company called you and said, hey, you know what? You should really pay this off faster. Here's how. Never. Instead, they offer you 0% balance transfers, higher limits, and reward points, anything to keep you in the system. So here's what Jennifer should actually do, and what you should do if you're in her shoes. Stop treating debt payments as just another bill. Treat them as a financial emergency, because that's what they are. Here's the strategy. List out every single debt you have. Not by how much you owe, by interest rate, highest to lowest. Keep paying minimums on everything except the highest interest rate debt. On that one, attack it with everything you've got. Extra $50 from a side gig? Throw it at the debt. Tax refund? Throw it at the debt. Birthday money from grandma? You know what to do. Once that first debt is dead, take everything you were paying on it and roll it into the next highest interest rate debt, then the next, then the next. This is called the debt avalanche method, and it's mathematically the fastest way out. Jennifer actually did this, stopped eating out, picked up extra weekend shifts, sold stuff she didn't need. In 11 months, she knocked out all 3 credit cards. Then she attacked the car loan. 2 years later, completely debt-free except for her student loans, which she's now overpaying by $800 a month. Her finish line? 3 more years. Total debt freedom at 37 years old. And here's the beautiful part. Once she's out, that $1,180 becomes her wealth-building machine forever. But even if you avoid lifestyle inflation and you're crushing your debt, mistake number 3 is lurking in your mailbox right now, and it's probably the most American financial mistake there is. Mistake number 3, treating your tax refund like a bonus. And I already know some of you are thinking, wait, what? My tax refund is free money. No, it's not. And that mindset is exactly what's keeping you broke. Let me tell you about my cousin Teresa. Every April, like clockwork, Teresa gets a tax refund, usually between $2,800 and $3,500. And every single year, she treats it like she won the lottery. Last year, $3,200 refund. She immediately booked a trip to Miami, $1,400, bought a new bedroom set she'd been eyeing, $1,100, treated her friends to a nice dinner, $200. The rest, gone within 3 weeks on random stuff she can't even remember. When I asked her, Teresa, why don't you invest that or save it? You know what she said? Sean, this is my money. I work hard all year. I deserve to treat myself. That's where we need to have an uncomfortable conversation. Teresa, and maybe you too, is celebrating getting her own money back. Money the government took from her paycheck every 2 weeks. Money she overpaid in taxes. Money that sat in the government's account, earning them interest, while she struggled to make ends meet in July when her AC broke. Let me say this clearly. A tax refund is not a gift. It's not a windfall. It's not free money. It's an interest-free loan you gave to the government, and they're just now paying you back. Here's the math that'll change how you see this. Teresa's $3,200 refund means she overpaid her taxes by about $267 a month. That's $267 that could have been in her pocket every single month, helping her pay down that credit card charging her 22% interest, or building an emergency fund so she doesn't panic when her car needs repairs, or invested in her Roth IRA. But instead, she gave the government an interest-free loan for 12 months, then celebrated when they gave it back. And look, I get it. For a lot of middle-class Americans, that tax refund feels like the only time they see a lump sum of money. It's the only time the bank account looks healthy. So psychologically, it feels like a win. But that's the exact problem. We've normalized financial habits that keep us broke. Let me tell you what happened when Teresa finally listened to me. We adjusted her W-4 withholding at work. Instead of claiming 0 or 1 allowance like she'd always done, we calculated the right amount based on her actual tax situation. Her refund would now be close to 0, but her paycheck increased by $245 every 2 weeks. That's an extra $490 a month in her pocket, working for her, not the IRS. First month, she panicked. Sean, I don't know what to do with this extra money. I'm going to blow it. So we automated it, set up automatic transfers. $245 from each paycheck went straight to a high-yield savings account before she could touch it. She didn't see it, didn't miss it. You know what happened? 6 months later, emergency fund, $2,940. For the first time in her adult life, when her transmission started acting up, she didn't have to put it on a credit card. She paid cash, didn't lose sleep, didn't go into debt. By month 12, she had $5,880 saved. That's almost double what her biggest tax refund ever was, except this time she had control of it all year long. And here's the part that's going to make some financial advisors uncomfortable. The system actually benefits from you getting big tax refunds. Think about it. Every April, Americans get about $300 billion in tax refunds. And what do most people do? They spend it immediately. It's a massive injection into the economy. Retailers literally run tax refund sales. Car dealerships advertise use your refund as a down payment. The whole apparatus is designed to make you feel like you won something, so you'll spend it instead of keeping it. But wealthy people, they don't get big tax refunds. They adjust their withholdings precisely. They keep their money throughout the year and make it work for them. So here's what you need to do, and you can do this tomorrow. Step 1, pull up last year's tax return. Look at line 19, or wherever it shows your refund amount. Step 2, go to the IRS website and use the tax withholding estimator. It's free. It'll tell you exactly what you should be claiming on your W-4. Step 3, adjust your W-4 at work. HR can help you. It takes 10 minutes. Step 4, and this is crucial, automate that extra monthly money immediately before you get used to seeing it. Split it between your emergency fund, debt payments, or investments. Make it disappear from your checking account the day you get paid. Do not, and I cannot stress this enough, do not just let it sit in your checking account thinking you'll be disciplined. You won't. None of us are that strong when the money's just sitting there. When you do this right, here's what changes. Instead of one big check in April that's gone by May, you have consistent monthly progress towards your actual financial goals. Every single month you're building, growing, moving forward. No more waiting all year for the government to give you back your own money. No more feast or famine cycle where you're broke 11 months and feel rich for 1. Just steady, sustainable wealth building, the way it's supposed to work. But here's where it gets interesting. Even if you fix your withholding, dodge lifestyle inflation, and crush your debt, mistake number 4 is happening in your kitchen right now. And it's so normalized in American culture that you probably don't even see it as a problem.
Mistake number 4. Death by 1,000 convenience charges. And this is the one that sneaks up on you because each individual charge feels so small, so reasonable, so worth it. Let me tell you about Kevin and Amanda, married couple, combined income of $94,000. Both work full-time. They're not reckless. They're not buying designer clothes or taking exotic vacations. They consider themselves pretty frugal, actually. But every month, they end up with maybe $200 left over after all their bills. They can't figure out where their money is going. So last year, I sat down with them and we did what I call a convenience audit. And what we found? It was staggering. Here's what Kevin and Amanda were spending every single month on small conveniences. Morning coffee runs, $6.50 a day, 5 days a week. That's $130 a month. Lunch during work. They didn't go anywhere fancy, just Chipotle, Panera, the deli across the street. Average $12 per person per day. That's $480 a month combined. DoorDash and Uber Eats, only when we're too tired to cook, which turned out to be 8 times a month. Average order with fees and tip, $45. That's $360 a month. Grocery delivery services, $15 delivery fee and markup on groceries twice a month. $30, but actually more like $60 when you factor in the inflated prices. Subscription services they forgot about. Apple Music, Amazon Prime, Spotify, yes, both, HBO Max, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, a meditation app Amanda used twice, a language learning app Kevin signed up for in January and forgot about, and a cloud storage service they didn't need. Total, $127 a month. ATM fees. Kevin never used his bank's ATM. $3.50 per transaction, about 6 times a month, $21. Late fees and overdraft fees. Not every month, but averaged out about $35 a month because they'd lose track of autopay dates. Bottled water, $6 a pack, twice a week instead of using the Brita filter sitting in their fridge, $48 a month. Want to know the total? $1,291 per month. Over $15,000 a year on convenience. When I showed them this spreadsheet, Amanda literally went pale. Kevin said, and I'll never forget this, "Sean, that can't be right. We're not living large. We're just living." And that's exactly it. They weren't being irresponsible. They were just being normal Americans. See, every single one of these expenses is designed to feel insignificant. It's just coffee. It's just lunch. It's just one DoorDash order because we had a long day. But here's what the companies selling you convenience know that you don't. They're not making money on the decision. They're making money on the habit. Let's do the math that changes lives. That $1,291 a month, if invested instead at an average 9% annual return over 20 years, becomes $865,000. Read that again. $865,000. That's not a down payment on a house. That's not a nice nest egg. That's retire early, send your kids to college debt-free, never worry about money again wealth. But it's being traded for the convenience of not making coffee at home and not meal prepping on Sunday. And here's the rebellious part nobody wants to say out loud. We've been sold the lie that time is money and that these conveniences are buying back our time. But that's only true if you're actually using that time to make money or build wealth. Kevin and Amanda weren't using their DoorDash time to build a side business. They were watching Netflix, which, by the way, they were also paying for. They weren't using their coffee shop skip time to develop a high-income skill. They were scrolling Instagram in the office. The convenience wasn't buying them anything except the temporary feeling of not having to do something uncomfortable. And look, I'm not saying you need to live like you're in a Cold War bunker making your own soap and grinding your own wheat. But there's a massive difference between intentional spending and habitual hemorrhaging. So here's what Kevin and Amanda did and what you can do starting this week. They picked 3 convenience expenses to eliminate completely, not reduce, eliminate. For them, coffee runs, ATM fees, and subscriptions they didn't actively use. That alone saved them $278 a month, with basically no impact on their quality of life. Then they set a monthly cap on delivery services, $100 total, no exceptions. If they hit the cap on the 15th, they cook at home the rest of the month. This forced them to be intentional. Is this meal really worth $45? Sometimes yes, usually no. They started meal prepping on Sundays. 4 hours, 1 day a week, lunches handled. That's $480 back in their pocket. They bought a quality coffee maker and good beans. Kevin actually said the coffee tastes better now. Morning routine cost $40 a month instead of $130. Total monthly savings after these changes, $843. They automated every penny of it. $500 to a high-yield savings account for their emergency fund, $343 to their Roth IRAs. 1 year later, here's where they are. Emergency fund, $6,000. First time they've ever had 4 months of expenses saved. Retirement accounts, $4,116 additional contributions they wouldn't have made. But here's what shocked them most. They don't feel deprived at all. Amanda told me, I thought cutting back would make life miserable, but honestly, I don't miss any of it. The coffee thing took a week to adjust to, and now I don't even think about it. The money we're saving feels more real than the convenience ever did. See, convenience culture isn't just about money. It's about outsourcing your life in tiny increments until you look up one day and realize you're paying other people to do things you could easily do yourself, and you're going broke in the process. Every DoorDash order is you paying $15 to $20 extra so you don't have to drive 10 minutes. Every bottled water purchase is you paying 1,000% markup for something that flows from your tap basically for free. Every ATM fee is you paying for the privilege of accessing your own money. It's insane when you actually look at it. So here's my challenge to you. Do a convenience audit this week. Pull your last 2 months of bank and credit card statements, highlight every convenience charge, coffee, delivery, subscriptions, fees, all of it. Add it up. Look at the annual number, and then ask yourself, is this convenience worth delaying my financial freedom by 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Because that's the real trade you're making. Now, we've covered 4 massive money mistakes, but the 5th one, this is the one that ties everything together. It's the foundation that if you don't get this right, nothing else matters. And it's the mistake that most middle-class Americans make without even realizing it.
Mistake number 5, having no system, just good intentions. And honestly, this is the mistake that keeps every other mistake alive. Let me tell you about a guy named Derek. Derek is 38 years old, works in logistics, makes $71,000 a year. Solid middle-class income. And Derek knows about all the other mistakes we've talked about. Lifestyle inflation? He's heard of it. Debt management? He understands the concept. Tax withholding? He's read articles. Derek has more financial knowledge than most Americans. He listens to podcasts. He watches videos like this one. He follows personal finance accounts on Instagram. And Derek is completely, utterly, hopelessly broke. $412 in his savings account, $14,000 in credit card debt, no retirement contributions in 3 years, living paycheck to paycheck every single month. How is that possible? Because Derek has intentions. What Derek doesn't have is a system. Every January, Derek tells himself, this is the year I get serious about money. Every payday, Derek thinks, I should put some of this in savings. Every time he makes a purchase, Derek considers, maybe I don't need this. But thinking isn't doing. Considering isn't executing. Intending isn't building. Derek's financial life runs on willpower. And here's the truth nobody tells you about willpower. It's a terrible financial strategy. You know when willpower is at its lowest? Friday evening after a long week. Sunday afternoon when you're bored. The moment you open Amazon. The second you feel stressed, tired, anxious, or overwhelmed. In other words, willpower abandons you precisely when you need it most. Here's what behavioral economists have proven over and over again. Humans are not rational financial beings. We're emotional creatures who occasionally use logic. When left to our own devices, we default to the path of least resistance, which in America means spending. Because spending is easy. Saving requires effort. Investing requires decisions. Budgeting requires attention. But here's the beautiful part. Systems remove the need for willpower entirely. When your savings happen automatically, you don't need discipline. When your bills pay themselves, you don't need to remember. When your investments happen without your input, you don't need motivation. You need systems that make the right choice the default choice. Let me tell you what happened when Derek finally built a system. We sat down on a Saturday morning with a cup of coffee and 3 hours. That's it. 3 hours to build an entire financial operating system for his life. Here's exactly what we did. Step 1, the account structure. Derek had one checking account where everything happened. Money came in, money went out, chaos reigned. We opened 3 additional accounts at his same bank. Took 15 minutes. Account 1, bills account, fixed expenses only, rent, utilities, car payment, insurance. Account 2, spending account, his weekly discretionary money, food, entertainment, gas, whatever he wants. Account 3, savings account, emergency fund and short-term goals. Same bank, so transfers are instant and free. Different accounts, so different purposes. Step 2, the automatic split. We calculated Derek's fixed monthly expenses, $2,340. We decided on his weekly spending cash, $300. That's $1,200 a month. We set his savings goal, $400 a month. Total, $3,940. His paycheck after taxes, $4,180, bi-weekly, so $4,180 twice a month. Here's what we automated on payday. $1,170 automatically transfers to bills account, covers exactly half his monthly fixed expenses each paycheck. $600 automatically transfers to spending account, 2 weeks of discretionary money. $200 automatically transfers to savings account, half his monthly savings goal. What's left in his checking account? $210. That's his buffer, his margin of error. Step 5, the debt attack. We took $200 of his bi-weekly buffer, that $210 that was left over, and set up automatic extra payments to his highest interest credit card. He never sees this money. It goes straight from checking to debt. $400 a month extra on top of minimums. At this rate, his credit card debt will be eliminated in 22 months instead of 12 years. Step 6, the retirement resurrection. Once we saw the numbers, we realized Derek could afford 3% to his company 401k without feeling it. His company matches 3%. That's 6% of his salary going to retirement. He logged into his HR portal, changed his contribution, and never thought about it again. Derek texted me 6 months after we set this up. Here's what he said, word for word. Sean, I have $2,400 in savings. I've paid off $3,100 in credit card debt. I have $2,800 in my 401k, and I haven't thought about money in 4 months. I just live my life, and the system handles everything. This is insane. That's the power of systems over intentions. Let me explain why this works so powerfully. Decision fatigue is real. Every day you make hundreds of decisions. What to eat, what to wear, how to respond to that email. Each decision depletes your mental energy. By the time you get home from work, you're running on fumes. And that's when Derek used to make his financial decisions. Tired, depleted, vulnerable. But systems don't get tired. Systems don't have bad days. Systems don't get tempted by Amazon deals at 11 p.m. Systems just execute. And here's the part that financial companies don't want you to understand. Their entire business model depends on your chaos. Banks make money when you overdraft. Credit cards profit when you forget to pay on time. Investment firms benefit when you panic and sell low, buy high. Your disorganization is their revenue stream. But a system makes you boring, predictable, unprofitable to predators. When your bills pay automatically, no late fees. When your savings happen automatically, no overdrafts. When your investments happen automatically, no panic selling. You become financially boring. And boring is wealthy. So here's exactly how you build your system this weekend. Saturday morning, 1 hour. Open additional accounts at your bank if needed. Most banks let you do this online in minutes. Label them clearly. Bills, spending, savings. Saturday afternoon, 1 hour. Calculate your fixed monthly expenses. Be exact. Add them up. Decide on your weekly spending amount. Be honest about what you need. Determine your savings goal. Start with $100 if that's all you can afford. Saturday evening, 1 hour. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your new accounts, timed for the day after payday. Set up auto pay for every fixed bill from your bills account. Set up automatic extra payments to your highest interest debt. Sunday, 30 minutes. Log into your work's HR portal. Increase your 401k contribution by at least 1%. If your company matches, contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's it. 4 hours, 1 weekend, a system that runs itself forever. Here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and nod along. Don't just add it to your good ideas collection. Don't just intend to do something. Do it this weekend. Build the system. Because a year from now, you can be in the exact same financial position you're in today, still intending to change things. Or you can have a year of automatic progress behind you. Savings you didn't have to think about, debt that disappeared while you slept, investments growing while you lived your life. The only difference between those two futures is whether you build the system or keep relying on intentions. Now, we've covered all 5 money mistakes, but before you go, I need to tie this all together and give you the truth nobody in personal finance wants to admit. All right, let's bring this all home. We've covered 5 money mistakes that are keeping the American middle class broke. Mistake 1, lifestyle inflation, spending every raise instead of investing it. Mistake 2, confusing debt payments with progress, managing debt instead of eliminating it. Mistake 3, treating your tax refund like a bonus, giving the government an interest-free loan and celebrating when they return your own money. Mistake 4, death by 1,000 convenience charges, bleeding wealth through small, habitual expenses that feel insignificant but compound into fortunes lost. Mistake 5, having no system, relying on willpower and intentions instead of building automatic structures that make wealth building inevitable. But here's what I really need you to understand, and this is the part nobody in personal finance wants to say out loud. These mistakes aren't your fault. Read that again. These mistakes are not your fault. You weren't taught this in school. There was no class called How to Actually Build Wealth. No teacher sat you down and explained the difference between managing debt and eliminating it. Nobody showed you how to set up an automatic financial system. Instead, you were taught to be a good employee. Show up on time, work hard, be responsible, pay your bills. And those are fine lessons, but they're incomplete. They teach you how to survive. They don't teach you how to thrive. Meanwhile, from the moment you were old enough to watch TV, you were bombarded with messages designed to make you spend. Commercials teaching you that happiness comes from products. Social media showing you highlight reels of people living lifestyles they can't afford. Credit card companies sending you pre-approved offers when you turned 18, before you had any idea how interest worked. The entire system is designed to extract wealth from you, not help you build it. So, when I say I'm slightly rebellious about personal finance, this is what I mean. I reject the idea that being broke is a character flaw. I reject the notion that struggling financially means you're lazy or irresponsible. I reject the narrative that the middle class just needs to work harder or want it more. Because I've seen people work 2 jobs and still live paycheck to paycheck. I've seen single mothers skip meals so their kids can eat. I've seen college graduates drowning in debt they were told would be worth it. The game is rigged. The deck is stacked, and pretending otherwise doesn't help anyone. But here's the thing, and this is important. Acknowledging that the system is broken doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you need to be strategic. You can't change the system overnight, but you can learn its rules and use them to your advantage instead of your disadvantage. Remember the people we talked about today? Marcus, the guy who upgraded his lifestyle every time he got a raise? After he watched a video like this one, he froze his lifestyle at his $52,000 level. Every raise since then goes straight to investments. He's on track to have $400,000 in his portfolio by age 40. Jennifer, the dental hygienist who thought making payments meant making progress, she's now completely debt-free and investing that $1,180 that used to go to lenders. She told me last month, "Sean, I actually believe I'm going to be wealthy now. I never thought that was possible for someone like me." Teresa, my cousin, who used to blow her tax refund every April, she adjusted her withholding, automated the difference, and just crossed $10,000 in savings for the first time in her life. She cried when she told me, literally cried. Kevin and Amanda, the couple bleeding money on convenience, they're now on track to max out both their Roth IRAs this year. They took a real vacation last summer, paid in cash, and said it was the first trip they've ever taken without financial anxiety. And Derek, the guy with all the knowledge but no system, he texted me last week. His credit card debt is gone, his emergency fund has $8,000, his 401k just crossed $12,000. He said, "For the first time in my adult life, I feel like I'm actually going to be okay." These are real people, regular middle-class Americans who were stuck in the same cycles you might be stuck in right now. They didn't win the lottery, they didn't get an inheritance, they didn't start a billion-dollar company. They just stopped making 5 mistakes and started building systems. And if they can do it, you can do it. I don't care if you're making $35,000 or $135,000. I don't care if you have $50,000 in debt or $5,000. I don't care if you're 22 or 62. The principles work. The math is the math. The only variable is whether you decide to act. So, here's my final challenge to you. Pick one mistake, just one, the one that resonates most with your situation right now, and fix it. Not next month, not next year, this week. If it's lifestyle inflation, commit to banking 50% of your next raise. If it's the debt trap, list out your debts by interest rate tonight and start the avalanche. If it's the tax refund illusion, go to the IRS withholding calculator tomorrow and adjust your W-4. If it's convenience spending, do a 2-month audit this weekend and find your leaks. If it's the lack of a system, spend 4 hours this weekend building your automatic money machine. One mistake, 1 week, one decision that changes everything. Look, I started this channel because I watched my parents do everything right and still struggle. I started it because I was tired of seeing good people stay broke while the wealthy got wealthier. I started it because someone needed to tell the truth about how money actually works in America. And the truth is this: your income is not your destiny. Your habits are your blueprint. And the biggest lie ever told to the middle class is that being broke is just bad luck. It's not luck. It's a system. And now you understand how the system works. So the only question left is, what are you going to do about it? If this video opened your eyes, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Not for me, for the algorithm. So this video reaches someone else who's stuck in these same cycles and needs to hear this message. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join this community. We drop videos every week breaking down the real strategies that build wealth, not the recycled advice that keeps you running in circles. And hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, because the next one might be the one that changes everything for you. Drop a comment below. Tell me which of the 5 mistakes hit you the hardest. I read every single comment, and I want to know your story. This is Sean reminding you, stop managing your money. Start mastering it. I'll see you in the next one.